So we're going to solve a problem that has plagued many. Of course, is making sure your optimal temperature for the hot pockets. And we're going to solve that with the Apollo TEMP-1 sensor. This is the battery powered version. And yeah, hot pockets are the bomb in the air fryer if you haven't tried them out yet. So we're going to put the sensor, and I did look this up, and good old Gemini AI said that this should be like 165 degrees internally. So they do give this long, I guess this like a 1 meter wire that I've gotten tangled up. So we just put it in the air fryer and close the door and see what happens. 146 degrees internally. And I did set the buzzer to ping us, I think it's 160 or 70 degrees Celsius. And yeah, you do have to set all the little buzzers and everything by Celsius in ESPHome in the Home Assistant app. Internally, so that should be cooked pretty well. And we'll check out, see if we got a good crispy crust. So of course, one of the big issues with Hot Pockets is some people call them lava pockets, or that's usually the little pizza pockets, but these also burn the hell out of your mouth as well. So this can let you know the internal temperature. Trevor and Justin may get pissed at me for, yeah, don't do this. The prong is very hot, so be careful with that. It's always good crispy crust. You remember those little jackets? They don't give you the jackets anymore to do that in the microwave, but hell, we got air fryers now. So I'm just gonna leave this sit here. You can see we're at 127 internally. And yeah, they'll burn the hell out of your damn mouth. So yeah, let's enjoy. So the real usage that I say this was originally designed, this is the non-battery version. Have it on the side of the refrigerator. It has the magnetic attachment, so it will just stick right to the side with all your other magnets. The power wire is running to a USB pack on the regular plug on the back of the fridge, I guess behind the fridge, since you know normally only have one device plugged in, there's the other one to go. But I have the long one on here. This is the short one I was messing around with, yeah, because you really see all the crazy hot spots in your fridge of how stupid refrigeration technology is. It just, you know, lets the freezer come over at certain amounts to, you know, supposedly set your refrigerator temperature, and I found out mine is not all that great. This is the one thing that helped me. I was able to determine that my temperatures were too high in my refrigerator because I was setting mine on 36 or so, and apparently, yeah, stuff was getting over 40 degrees. So it bumped it to 34. That's a good, like I found, a good median inside the fridge. So this is the little short flat cable, and I found I get a warm spot in this upper area of the refrigerator. Now, they do come with a longer wire. I just used some blue painter's tape. You probably want to go with something prettier if you're going to put it in the fridge. Maybe like a suction cup with a little bracket to tie wrap it to, maybe down towards the bottom. So probably the best bet to do is just toss it in the freezer. And you could put the wire up somewhere, like up in here or something, wrap it around the top, and then you could have it up here and it wouldn't bother anybody because it's all the freezer. It just gets damn cold in this thing anyway. But it does give you a good idea that, hey, if the freezer fails, then of course the refrigerator side is going to fail because it's usually the same compressor just spilling over the coldness into the refrigerator using the little valve that's usually in the back that spills over. So definitely get that first line of detection, just throw it in the freezer for the temperature probe. So digging into these sensors a bit more, there's two versions. They have the non-battery version. You can see it's very slender, and yeah, they are stupid small. So yeah, let's get something for size reference. Everybody knows, there's the magnet there. Everybody knows the AA size of things. And yeah, I guess let's jump to talk about the magnet mount right out the gate since it's in our face. This is like a little clip-on. This is an add-on that you do when you order it. Now it's great for like the refrigerator. It just clips on the bottom of the sensor itself. I do believe the battery version also has that little clip. Let's zoom in because these things are small. So they still are currently, I know that's been one of the complaints with Apollo, has been the 3D printed cases, but these aren't too bad. I know they're talking about potentially going to some resin cases, but we'll see how that goes. They did send these for review, and of course, but no funds were exchanged, so we definitely keep it unbiased as always. And yeah, let's look at the guts of all the things as we get the magnet stuck to our spudger. So the board just sits inside. They do some great engineering of the cases, the PCBs, etc. If I can get this out, the tolerances, they kept them definitely tight. It's a cool little board here. They have their logo on them, and they are ESP32C3. Let me see if we can... So quick rundown of things on the board. There's the USB-C on the bottom for powering things. And I believe that's also for if you really screw up the firmware, that you can just plug in and reflash this thing with their little onboard USB web flasher. And then looks like we've got a multicolor LED there, and you've got a couple buttons for like reset and boot in the ESP32C3. I want to say this is the buzzer here, and down here you'll see this little white one right there if we zoom in. There is an onboard temperature and humidity sensor on the board itself. Now, of course, that could be impacted by the power of the ESP32C3, so keep that in mind. Now, of course, the battery version is going to sleep a good bit. And I guess speaking of that, let's jump over to the battery. The only other thing is this big black thing here. It is the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack deal, and no, it's not for headphones. That's actually going to be for the temperature sensors, which we'll get to in a second. So very similar with the battery version, except it's going to be, it's got the battery on the bottom of it. Now, of course, you do need to buy a rechargeable battery for this, definitely, and a battery charger. These aren't the best batteries, but I'll leave the link down below where I got them off of Amazon in a pinch. They're not like any Samsung or Panasonic battery cells that you see. So you'll see it's pretty similar to what they had on the previous one. So I'm not going to bore you and go over all the things. It's, again, ESP32C3. They just mainly have the battery pack packed on the back of this thing. And, of course, the case is a little bit bigger. But this is great for, doing things out at the grill and all the fun stuff. So down to the temperature sensors. Now, quick little backstory of what they did is they started out just wanting to do a small sensor for doing something with the refrigerator or the freezer. And this is the Dallas-based sensor. It's just on a little headphone jack looking deal. You plug it in and you call it a day. And then you could put it in your refrigerator. It is a flat cable. So super flat. It shouldn't cause anything with the sealing, or you shouldn't get any leaks on your refrigerator freezer if the door closes tightly. And then someone said, hey, well, you could do something where let's make it for cooking, like cooking some steaks off the grill, or we did some hamburger steaks with it. So this is where you get that food probe. And you get this long food probe. This is a different, you do need to buy this on the little add-on for when you're buying this thing, but it's the same exact plug, and you get this long wire, so you could take this, the battery-powered one, and stick it by the grill. So the only thing I say that I wish would be different with this setup, it's cool that this is all open source, ESPHome, Home Assistant, all the things, pretty awesome. But the battery-powered one, I do wish that there was a switch or a easy-to-push button on things, really a switch, because when I'm going to cook with it, I would want to flip the switch on, and then it would connect to Home Assistant, do everything. I really don't want to make it sleep and then turn it off whenever I don't need it anymore. And I did find that it only does like a 30-second update, but I believe that can be changed in the YAML file, given this is ESPHome. Some cooking, I would like to see it like do like a 10-second, update, or 15-second. 30 seconds a little bit long when you're trying to do some particular cooking, maybe not with like large pieces of meat. Secondly, giving for temperature stuff, I know you can do the automation for, making the buzzer chime and everything, but at a quick glance would be kind of cool if there was a small like little e-ink display. I know that would raise the cost, but it would be kind of cool just to go at a glance and see what temperature it was on the unit itself. So maybe that could be some type of add-on pop-in deal that they could do in another model. That would be pretty damn slick for things. But I will say, with the buzzer and the powered one, that I can power it behind the fridge, and it's that KISS principle where, hey, if the temperature goes above a certain temperature, you set the automation actually in the chip. So Home Assistant and everything can be totally down, and you would still get an alert. You could actually do the LED if you did an onboard automation, but even with the built-in firmware, you could do the buzzer, and it will nag you over and over and over, where then someone would say, hey, what's that noise in the kitchen? Oh, well, that's my refrigerator, and because OG left the freezer open again. So that's definitely meets my thing of KISS principle on a refrigerator sensor. I don't get that with some of the Bluetooth ones that give you that audible alert when you get over a certain temperature. So definitely kudos to them for thinking of that and doing something for the temperature refrigerator freezer sensor. So a quick rundown of the sensor in Home Assistant. Yeah, it just auto discovers into Home Assistant. So you really don't need to go do anything special for anything. You can actually just let them also take firmware updates over the air, which is pretty damn awesome. So all this is done for you. Like I say, the alarm outside temperature range, that's the little buzzer on it. It's not really loud, but I guess if you got a lot of stuff going on in the kitchen, you may not hear them. I'm not sure if there's a way to turn the volume up on those. For the most part, I guess for the freezer refrigerator, it's just going to constantly go off so that you would really hear it. Now, you do get the RGB light on the battery one as well. You can do like all your cool automations and things like that. Now, you do get like board humidity, temperature, and you'll get both probes depending on which ones you have picked. On this particular one, I'm just using that little flat cable one in the refrigerator right now. Yeah, you can see it's 40 degrees. Now, it's probably due to I just went through a defrost cycle on the refrigerator, so it's actually cooling back down. You can see the compressor cycles going like it's supposed to. So it's showing like what high of 40, and then we're getting down to like 38 or so, which, if you remember, I set mine for 34. So the temperature settings on the front of your refrigerator are not always right. It also depends on where you're going to put that temperature probe in the refrigerator. Of course, if you put it in the back, you're going to get that colder temperature, but it does help you fine tune those spots to get that optimal temperature in your refrigerator, which is cool. I never knew I had this issue in my refrigerator, but maybe that was why the milk went bad faster than we thought. Like there's that firmware update. You can say prevent sleep, etc. Even this isn't the battery one, but if you want to run down like, hey, what do all of these like food probe offsets do, and min probe, max probe, well, jump on over to their awesome like documentation. They're constantly always adding things into the documentation on things for all their different sensors. So they got the FAQ, etc. I'm not going to go through all of this, but they do have all the information on all the sensor definitions right here. That way you don't like have to guess like, etc. What's the min max probe? They're all defined right there for you, which is pretty cool. Now, since these are based on ESPHome, if you want to change stuff and make it your own, absolutely. You can go into the actual sensor, and you can see it there. You can go and take over and take control of the YAML itself. So here's the TEMP-1. You can go look in all the GitHub. It's broken down. He has all the temperature stuff. Looks like Trevor does a lot of the stuff on their GitHub, which is pretty cool. all the YAML stuff for all your, because it's open source and you can make or do pull request here if you want to have a suggestion and send it to them and everything. I really love the tight integration that they're doing with Home Assistant and the open source community and ESPHome. It definitely makes the sensor better and the software better all the time as things go on. So I guess what leads us to, would you buy one? And yeah, if you do want to buy one, you'll find all the links down below. And yeah, those are affiliate links, but there's no additional cost to you. It does help out support the channel. Now, if I would buy one, probably yes, because just getting behind things with, supporting companies that are doing things with Home Assistant and ESPHome, I really love to see and support all the different communities on that. And these sensors have some really good ideas. I mean, they took this refrigerator sensor and also gave you the ability to plug in a food probe for like cooking your steaks or Hot Pockets, and that's pretty damn awesome to have a dual use sensor. Now they are also jumping into Homey as well. They're just doing some testing on that, and I've got a little Homey set up and I haven't been able to test it just yet, but we're working on that behind the scenes in their Discord channel, which is pretty cool if you want to jump in there as well. So definitely go and check out some of Apollo Automation sensors. They got some pretty cool stuff coming out with some exciting products all the time. And yeah, I do appreciate Apollo for sending this over for review. But of course, as always, there was no funds exchanged. That definitely keeps it unbiased. And yeah, this isn't perfect, but it's pretty damn close of the temperature sensors out there with Home Assistant. So that about do it for this one. I do appreciate all the YouTube members, Patreon members. We definitely couldn't do it without you. And yep, y'all know the drill. Press all them buttons and y'all take care.